Hello, welcome to another Daily Digest video. I'm Merriam. Today I'm going to be playing a four-color Delver deck that looks a little bit like four-color Traverse. We got Traverse and ways to enable that card with Bedlam Reveler and Pyromancer like those Traverse decks have. But with blue cantrips, some counterspells, some Delvers, cool-looking deck. Unfortunately, this hand seems rather weak. 4 lands is a lot for sure, though Thought Scour should help enable this Bedlam Reveler. I guess my deck's about half spells, 27 out of 60, which means 25 out of 53 are left. So I'm likely to mill over 1 spell with this, and that's still going to leave, after the terminate this Reveler, costing 5. But as long as I find some other spells, that's probably good enough. This is definitely a borderline hand. I'm going to try it, but I wouldn't be surprised if I end up regretting it. Modern is definitely a format where you want to mulligan more borderline hands and hope to get really good hands. But I put them all to 6, so that's nice. And scry to the bottom. Okay. They were not nice in winning the die roll. Ooh, Storm. Okay. So I am certainly going to want to get black mana for this terminate, which means I'll play a Misty with the intent to fetch Watery Grave. Yeah. I want to be able to terminate on turn 2 against a Brawl or Electromancer here. Looks like they are not going to play one. Okay then, well, should probably pop out both these graveyards. This is definitely a matchup where the graveyard is going to be quite relevant. And I milled over a Bedlam Reveler and a Claim to Fame, so that's cool. I milled over a spell that I can cast from the graveyard. Drew a land, that's less cool. I do also now have 4 card types. So, because I milled over a sorcery and a creature. So this Traverse can find a Delver if I want to start trying to apply some pressure. I do run the risk of just immediately dying. But I do want to get some pressure. And our opponent mulliganed. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for this line. And Traverse for... we're getting remanded. That's a tilt. Well, I guess it's actually better that they remanded this Traverse. Now we get to Thought Scour. But it makes sense for them to do that because I don't have a second green source, so I can't recast it. A little bit of an awkward mana for my opponent. Please don't kill me. Just turn 2 remand, turn 3 dead. Okay, looks like they're just getting this Brawl down. This is awkward. I can't terminate and get a threat down here. I'm definitely going to terminate, so I guess if they have another remand, though, I'm sort of screwed. Do I terminate on the upkeep, then, to force them to use a mana on their turn? Probably. Well, let's play Serum Visions. Tarfire might be able to deal with a Goblin Electromancer later, but yeah, now we're just gonna cross our fingers and hope they don't have a second copy of Remand. I was kind of hoping they would opt on end step and I'd get a free window here, but what are you gonna do? Ooh, okay, our Terminate resolved, that's good. And they drew a tapped land, so they cannot cast Gifts and Given here. I guess that's actually, if they had Gifts, they probably would have done it in response to Terminate, right? So that's a sign that they don't have it. That is also a downside of me upkeeping this, but I think the remand factor is bigger. Hmm. Well, given the fact that I don't think I'm about to die, I'm going to go for a bit of an aggressive line here. I think I can afford to get the forest. I have second Red Source in my hand. My plan here is to traverse for a Delver and play a Grimflayer. Yeah, so I'll just get the forest. Traverse. And hopefully we can find some counter spells here with this Grimflayer before they set back up. Making a lot of land drops over there. Weird way of tapping their mana, but it does look like we're dead. What did they just Noxious Revival? A Sleight of Hand? Okay. So they're just using these resources to deal with this Grimflayer. Okay. I can live with that. Ooh, a Deprive. Yes, I would like to reveal that. That is an excellent draw. It does make this Bedlam Reveler awkward, but How much does this cost? Yeah. So I know they have a Sleight of Hand on the top of their deck. I guess I'm incentivized to just deprive that. So I can Bedlam Reveler next turn? The question is, what do I traverse for here? I can't find a Delver or a Grimflayer and cast it while holding up the Deprive. But I guess I can just do that next turn. I definitely want to use this Traverse here. And I probably just want another Grimflayer to go along with this Reveler. Yeah. I'm just going to find that now. Oh, I guess I could have played it and flashed back Fame and gotten in for 6. Didn't really think about that. A lot of options in this deck. But whatever, we're past the point of no return. Get them to 11 here. Oh, yeah, this is actually... Okay, I know what I want to do here. I'm going to deprive this. And... Oh, now they're dead. Okay, well... Yeah, I was going to force them to chump block here with this Brawl, which also puts them in rough shape. I don't think they can kill me at that point. But with this Tarfire, they are just dead. So... mush for 6. Or 9, I mean. Huh. Well, that was a sweet game 1. Opponent's draw was not great. They never found a Gifts Ungiven off the mulligan. They flooded a bit. But our draw was pretty good there. On the keeping a somewhat weak 7, we did a lot of stuff with our mana. So I'm pretty happy with how that draw panned out. Okay, definitely want Duress. Definitely want Counter Squall. Definitely want Staticaster as an answer to Empty. It's nice that our answer to Empty is traversable, so we don't have to bring in more than one. What do I want to cut? I think Tarfire is our weakest removal spell by far. Usually they trim Goblin Electromancer in almost every matchup anyway. And we still have 4 bolts and 2 pushes, which is a good number there. I don't think the Terminate is also somewhat weak, being 2 mana. I think 6 removal spells is good. This is 61. I am thinking about Ravenous Trap. I think we can probably just cut this Claim to Fame. But otherwise, once that's cut, our entire deck is just threats, counter spells, and removal for their creatures. So, and cantrips. So that seems pretty good to me. They usually move away from being so graveyard-oriented in the post-board games. So they're not vulnerable to graveyard hate. Trim Gifts Ungivens, play pieces of the puzzle, often go down to 1 Past in Flames. But when we have answers to, or an answer to Empty, maybe it's good. I don't think I'm going to bring it in now because the rest of my deck just looks so complete. All the cards are good. But we'll see. I might change my mind for Game 3 if we do have a Game 3. Okay. So, here's what I'm thinking with this hand. I think I can fetch for Breeding Pool and then traverse for Swamp. Alternatively, I can get Overgrown Tomb and tutor for Island. No, that's worse. That doesn't cast Grimflayer. Yeah, so we're want Breeding Pool Swamp. Another mull to 6 from my opponent, but I think this hand's fine. We'll be able to Duress plus Delver. We are missing an answer to an early creature, but hopefully they just trimmed on Electromancer, and that's less important. So we'll be able to Duress and get a threat down, which will be nice. We'll have land sorcery in the graveyard, so this Flare is going to be a 2/2, which means it's held in check by Brawl. Okay. Serum Visions. Oh wow, that must be a new thing. Normally they show the scries individually, but yeah, 1 on the bottom and 1 on the top. So they split them. No land, not great. And does my deck not have a swamp? Oh, that is a tilt. Okay then, I thought I had a swamp, but I guess there's not room for all the basics, and swamp is the worst of them. So I guess we'll just do Overgrown Tomb Island, because I definitely want to Delver Duress. I'm not too concerned about casting Grimflayer yet, and we can find red, green, or red-black will be, so Stomping Ground or Blood Crypt will be our next target for a fetch land. Okay, well, still keeping with my plan. See if they have a creature here. That'll be bad news. Okay, just a slight. I like that. They kept on top last turn, so I am expecting a land here, but just a tapped Steam Vents. These draws have not been very good. Need another land deck. But let's see what our opponent is working with. So they do have a Baral. They also have a bajillion Remands. and some Pyretic Rituals. Interesting. With Brawl, Remand will certainly let them sculpt their hand. They do have a lot of mana. I'm pretty worried if they just go land, hold up, or Brawl, hold up, Remand, but I can't stop that. Unfortunately, I'm staring at two pairs here, which makes Duress awkward. I honestly think I just want to get rid of these Remands, because my hand's going to be kind of slow. Remand could be a liability if they don't draw lands, but if they don't draw a land, they could just not cast the Brawl and Remand anyway. So yeah, I'm going to take a Remand. They're not that incentivized to play this Brawl here, because it's unlikely to be able to block Delver, at least for very long. Yep. Yeah, we'll reveal. Huh. So now I can traverse plus Delver, and the question is, which one is better to resolve immediately? And I'm inclined actually to say I want to resolve the Traverse, because then I get a Mountain, and next turn I can cast Fall plus Delver, which is really nice, because I know they have no lands. So I'm going to lead with a Delver. They do know my hand, so... The thing is, if they just let this Delver resolve, I'm just not going to cast this Traverse and say I got further ahead and you didn't use your mana. So they are pretty heavily incentivized to Remand there, and they do. Still only have the 2 card types, so we'll get a basic. This also does bluff Bolt for their Brawl pretty effectively. Looks like they're not playing around that, though. They're just so mana light, they need to get one down. They might have a replacement. Interesting. With this Brawl down, the Young Pyromancer is not particularly good. So I think I just want to get the Delver down anyway. Oh, it's him to Turok you. We know they have 2 Pyretic Rituals, but 3 unknowns. And we got both rituals, so they have 3 unknowns. Yeah, I'm just going to play the Delver, and then this fetch land is going to act like a scry. I get to trigger Delver, see the top card of my deck, fetch it away if it's bad. Hopefully find a removal spell for this Brawl. If they go now, light on resources for an empty, we have the answer, which is nice, and we have significant pressure. We could run afoul of like a small ball grape shot, but then they'd have to rebuild, which we saw in game 1 they were unable to do, and we have replacement threats here. Although even if a creature dies, I will not have 4 types in the yard. Ow, am I just dead? Wow. Well, yeah. They got left over with some good cards after that Himgaturok. Yeah. Don't think I can win now. I guess my plan will be to try to force them to empty somehow rather than Grape Shot. But I don't really know how I do that. I'm definitely not going to give them Manamorphose because they're light on blue mana. So that is definitely a choke point. But they have plenty of... Yeah, they're just doing the standard 4 here. There is no way I can prevent them from casting this Past in Flames with significant mana left over. So I think I just want to give them the excess mana. They're going to be able to resolve this with 6 rituals in their graveyard no matter what they do. So that's going to give them just a ton of red mana. I can't help that. So I'm just going to cut them off with this Past in Flames and this Manamorphose. And hope for the best. It's a very common way of playing against combo decks is trying to find what resource they're most choked on and choke them on it while letting them have an abundance of the other resource. And the two main ones are just mana and cards. So in this case, it's just mainly red mana they have an abundance of. So I'll just let them have an even higher abundance of it because it has diminishing returns. Yeah, so this is their make 2 blue. Okay. I have no idea what the storm count is. I guess they went Ritual Gifts is 3, and then Ritual Past in Flames is 6. And then Ritual Manamorphose Gifts, so the storm count is currently 10. And they're going to have Desperate Ritual, Past in Flames, Manamorphose. Or Desperate Ritual, Manamorphose, Past in Flames is 13. No, I'm going to give them Desperate Ritual, Past in Flames in hand. So Desperate Past is 12. And then they have 5 rituals, gets them to 17. Manamorphose gets them to 18. They can flashback 2 cantrips, get to 20, and Grave Shot for 21. Yeah, so I'm just deterministically dead. I'm not going to make them play it out. Some good draws for my opponent to be able to combo through Duress him to Turok. They did leave in Gifts Ungiven, at least in some numbers. Maybe I do want this Ravenous Trap. I don't know what I'm cutting for it. Might just cut like a young Pyromancer. Seems like my worst threat. I haven't wanted to play it anytime I've drawn it. Yeah, let's go with that. I also maybe want those Disdainful Strokes, but they only counter like certain cards. It's hard to cost 2 mana. So once again, we're in a spot where our mana's a little awkward. I think this is a spot where I want to get overgrown. I want to ignore blue mana and then try to get a Pyromancer down on turn 2 and then start disrupting them because I'm on the play. Yeah, so I'm going to get Stomping Ground and Tutor for Swamp because that combination casts Grimflayer as opposed to getting Overgrown 2 Mountain. Oh, again, I don't have a Swamp. Okay. Don't have a Swamp. So we're getting Overgrown 2 and searching for Mountain. But this is a keep. Very important to take some care during your opening hands while you're deciding whether to keep as to how you're going to sequence the opening turns with decks like this because it's quite tricky. So Overgrown Tomb and Traverse. Got 2 types now. And then start on a Slight. So now I'm... that is definitely a downside of the way I played this. So that cantrips, which would otherwise be pretty good draws, are no longer. Hopefully we can find another land here. Okay, just trading. And there's a land. So I think... What do I'm definitely getting blue. The question is what second color I want. My first instinct was I want double red because I have 2 red cards, but this turn I'm pretty sure I'm going to go Pyromancer Visions. Maybe I'm supposed to go Pyromancer Duress so I don't just die on turn 3. But if I go Pyromancer Visions, next turn I can go Delver of Secrets Duress Bolt, which is really nice. But maybe a little greedy to try to get another turn where they just don't kill me. I mean, they've only played 1 cantrip. I think it's unlikely that they turn 3 kill me. They'd have to have Brawl, land Brawl, 2 Rituals Gifts. Or some weird combination of mana and Gifts Ungiven. I am a little weak to if they just want to do like a quick empty turn after using their Grape Shot on my creature, especially a creature that's good against empty. I'm getting a little scared here, but I think I want a Pyromancer Duress the more I think about it. Which means I think this is going to find blue-black. Because I don't really need extra green mana, and I want to have I want to be able to cast Grimflare if I draw it. Yeah. So Young Pyromancer. And Rescue. What are you up to, opponent? Oh, yeah, they had me pretty close to dead here. I don't know if that exactly does it, because they would be casting Gifts Ungiven with 1 mana floating. Yeah, so that doesn't exactly do it, but it gives them 2 draws with the Manamorphose to try to find it. Definitely just going to take the Gifts Ungiven. Maybe I'm supposed to take Manamorphose. I think I'm just going to take the big spell. Give the Gifts Ungiven. Echoing Truth's a little annoying because it's good against my draw of Pyromancer, but I'm hoping they just go like Brawl, tapped events, go. Okay, well they found a Visions. It's like they're incentivized to get this Brawl down to check my cards here while I build up this army of elementals. 2 cards on top. And yeah, that's what they do. So that's great for me. So we know this is gone, and we know this is gone, and they left both on top because they're jerks. Well, first things first, we'll get this out of the way. And I think I just want to get more pressure down. I guess I could have Visions and maybe tried to find a counter spell, but we'll see. Okay, well, am I... Yeah, between what the Visions found and the 2 cards on top of their deck, I might just be dead. Those 3 cards were Electromancer, Ritual, Gifts Ungiven. Okay, well there's a pseudo-ritual. Still think Gifts with 2 mana floating doesn't get them there. Okay, they found another Grape Shot, so they're just going to kill my board here and hope to rebuild. But they have a pretty weak Echoing Truth in their hand. This gets me to... I was already on 4 because of the first Pyromancer, but... Oh, wow, they found Remand. Well, that's not good. So they're going to have a card here, an unknown card, Grape Shot, Echoing Truth, after... Oh, these are just going after me. Okay. They could have just used that 4 to kill what I had in play and then held this Grape Shot. But I think they're going to just... I guess they could, like, Echoing Truth the 2 tokens. Get up to... and then Grape Shot and get more damage at me. If they find another Remand, I'm just dead. Yeah, now they're taking out my creatures. And get me to 8. That's actually pretty good. Now this Electromancer might just take me out. Oh, basic Forest. Yeah, I guess I have to play... No, because if I play this Delver to try to block, the Echoing Truth is just really good against me. I'm just going to try to find a removal spell. Found a Deprive that is quite bad. With only 1 blue mana. Definitely want that on the bottom. Do I want this Duress? I can Duress away the Echoing Truth and play this Delver. I hope to flip it. Yeah, it seems fine. I'm going to take some beats from this Electromancer. Let's Duress you. Ugh, now they found a Gifts. Well, this is not good. Not good at all. So, I assume they will find Past in Flames and mana. And empty, sure. I mean, I can't let them resolve a Past in Flames with a mana floating, otherwise I'm dead. Which means I can't give them a Ritual, because Ritual gets them to 5 mana, even with Flashback this will cost 4. So I have to put both Rituals in the graveyard. I guess I do get to follow this up with a Duress. So maybe I'm supposed to put... I feel like I have to put Past in Flames in the graveyard or I'm dead to a land. So I guess that means I have to leave them with this empty. I don't think I can beat any of these. Let's put the Rituals in the graveyard, because I know I have to do that, and then we'll make the decision on what to Duress based on what I see. Second Electromancer, the Echoing Truth, and an empty. Yeah, let's take the Past in Flames. So now their turn is likely just going to be like bounce my Delver and attack for 2 and play Electromancer. I say they don't have to bounce immediately. Just play Electromancer, attack for 2, hold up. If they draw a land, I guess they can Electromancer plus empty. Alright, so they can also do Echoing Truth plus empty with a land. But if they just play the Electromancer, this bounce seems weird, but sure. And now I have to chump block with this Delver. Okay. Pretty sure I have no outs at this point. But, you know, it's game 3. I'll keep playing. Yeah, now I'm just dead. They can just flashback Past in Flames for 3. I don't have a counterspell. Well, had some awkward mana there, because I was always traversing for a basic and had 4 colors. But a lot of it was just my opponent, like the resilience of the Storm deck. I had some disruption, and they just drew the cards they needed to keep going to go off through it. And being able to kill me through Duress, him to Turok is pretty nice. I wasn't able to find enough answers for their creatures. I left them all in, so maybe I was supposed to have more removal in my deck. Like maybe the Tarfires or the Turbinates, so I'd be able to kill those more consistently. I had a lot of options in sideboarding, just never really found the right balance, I guess. But I definitely could have trimmed on threats. Maybe that's the right thing to do. Other than the plan that they have there, where they just Grape Shot as a Plague Wind and rebuild, is pretty good. Usually, you need a lot of Graveyard Hate to stop that plan because their rebuild is centered around Past in Flames. We only have the one piece of Graveyard Hate, so yeah, good beats. We got one game. That's kind of nice, but Storm is good. You saw it there. You would think a deck with a bunch of cheap threats, cheap removal for the creatures, counter spells, and discard, you'd think would be ideal against them, and they powered through me like I was nothing. So hope you enjoyed watching that one, and you can come back and see me on Monday. Bye.